Dear students, we are studying the chapter New Empires and Kingdoms of History, and this is the part 3 of this chapter. Let's start with the topic Ordinary People in the Kingdoms. We can catch an occasional glimpse of the lives of ordinary people from plays, many plays you have seen and listened about them, and other accounts. Let's look at some of these. Kalidasa. Kalidasa is known for his plays depicting life in the king's court. Kalidasa, great Sanskrit writer. An interesting feature about these plays is that the king and most Brahmins are shown as speaking Sanskrit. In the plays written by Kalidasa, the characters, especially Brahmins and kings, speak Sanskrit language, while women and men other than the king and Brahmins use Prakrit language. So dear students, here one thing is clear, that Prakrit was the language of ordinary people and Sanskrit was the language of specially Brahmins and kings, means higher classes people. His most famous play, Abhijana Shakuntalam, is the story of the love between a king named Dushyanta king, and a young woman named Shakuntala. So this is the love story of King Dushyanta and Shakuntala. We find an interesting description of the plight of a poor fisherman in this play. So let's see this extract from this play. A fisherman finds the ring. A fisherman found a precious ring, very precious, very costly ring, which the king had given to Shakuntala, but which had been accidentally swallowed by a fish. When the fisherman went to the palace with it to return this precious ring, the gateman accused him of theft, and the chief police officer was rather rude. However, the king was happy when he saw the ring and sent a reward for the fisherman. Then the police officer and the gateman decided to take a share of the reward and went along with the fisherman to have a drink. So this is the extract from the play Abhijana Shakuntalam, written by Kalidasa in Sanskrit language. Do you think that if a poor man finds something and reports this to the police, he would be treated like this today? I think no, because today the police will see and investigate in better ways that the poor man is returning very precious thing, right? So the poor man should be rewarded. After that, next one, the Chinese pilgrim Faiyan noticed the plight of those who were treated as untouchables by the high and mighty people, higher classes people like king and other higher classes people like Brahmins. They were expected to live on the outskirts of the city. He writes, if such a man enters a town or a marketplace, he strikes a piece of wood in order to keep himself separate. People, hearing this sound, know what it means and avoid touching him or brushing against him. So this is described by Faiyan in this way. And Banabhatta provides us with a vivid picture of the king's army on the move. Here is the description by Banabhatta. You have listened about Banabhatta. This one, the king's army. The king traveled with an enormous amount of equipment. The kings traveled from one place to another place. Apart from weapons, there were things of daily use such as pots, pans, furniture, and golden footstools, food, including animals such as goat, deer, rabbits, vegetables, spices, carried on carts or loaded onto pack animals such as camels and elephants. This huge army was accompanied by musicians beating drums and others playing horns and trumpets. Villagers had to provide hospitality along the way. They came with gifts of cards, gur, and flowers and other important commodities to this army and provided fodder for the animals. They also tried to meet the king and place their complaints and petitions before him. Like today, any leader, famous leader, comes to particular area, then the people try to meet him and to tell him their problems and to get the solution. The army left a trail of destruction behind. Elephants often trampled down the huts of villagers, and the oxen yoked to the caravans of merchants ran away, scared by the tumult. As Banabhatta says, the whole world was swallowed up in dust. So in this way, this was the destruction left by the army traveled in particular areas. Now, this is the last topic. Elsewhere, Arabia. We can see Arabia in this map. Although it is a desert, it was at the hub of communications for centuries. In fact, Arab merchants and sailors played an important role in the sea trade between India and Europe. Others who lived in Arabia were the Bedouins, pastoral tribes, depending mainly on camels, hardy animals that could survive in the desert, because camel is the main animal of the deserts. Around 1400 years ago, Prophet Muhammad introduced a new religion, Islam. You know, Islam was introduced by Prophet Muhammad in Arabia. Like Christianity, Islam was a religion that laid stress on the equality and unity of all before Allah. Allah, the one supreme God. So in Islam, Allah is considered the one supreme God and the supremacy, authority, supreme authority and mighty. Here is a verse from the Quran. Quran is the holy book of Islam, the sacred book of Islam. For Muslim men and women, for believing men and women, for devout men and women, for true men and women, for men and women who are patient and constant, for men and women who humble themselves, for men and women who give in charity, for men and women who fast, for men and women who guard their chastity, and for men and women who engage much in Allah's remembrance. For them has Allah prepared forgiveness and great reward. Here the supremacy of Allah is described and equality. Within 100 years, Islam spread to North Africa, Spain, Iran and India. Arab sailors who were already familiar with the coastal settlements of the subcontinent now brought the new religion with them. Arabs soldiers conquered Sindh, that is Pakistan at present, about 1300 years ago. Finally, we can see these routes that would have been taken by these sailors and soldiers in this map. So dear students, in this way we have completed this chapter. Read the chapter from the textbook and watch this video again. Thank you. Have a nice day.